Hey everybody, and welcome to the first episode here on Austin FC Manager Career Mode, and this is called Rooted in Austin. Now this series, within this series, it's just a quick look here. We're just taking a look at some of the front office stuff that we have to do, like when it comes to buying players, trading players, or I should say buying and selling players. And then also just some of my ideas of what I think we need to do here. And these are I don't know if these are going to be every monthly or halfway through the series or whatever, or they could be something that we can do every so often here within the series. So I just want to show you guys here, we're at the last day of the transfer window here. This is of course the winter transfer window as we're getting ready to start the season. Now the first two games you'll see in the next episode will be the Orlando game against Orlando SC. That'll be our first home game. And of course, it will not be a MLS game. It will be actually for the US Cup, starting that off. And that'll be our first home game there. And then, of course, we'll have our first road game, which will be on LA. Now, I think I mentioned this before, but we won't have a home game for almost, technically our home opener of the MLS season. I think it's going to be at least a good month or two before we get into, we actually have a home game. So, unfortunately, we'll be on the road for quite a while there. And of course, like I said, we're going to skip a lot through this series as much as I possibly can because I'm trying to just play against some of the top tier teams in the West and and also in the East. As we take a look here, we're looking at some of the players here in our youth academy, and of course some players there that we're looking at within the transfer window to see if we can pick up anything. And honestly, I think right now for this first transfer window, this winter transfer window, we're not going to really make too many big splashes. I think I said this before, and this really in the start of this series. But we're going to try to start a lot of homegrown players. We're going to try to get a lot of these players here. Of course, we are going to go internationally to bring in some of those players with our youth academy and stuff like that. And honestly, there's a lot of these players right here that if you see here, we got a lot of good guys that could come in here and really get stuff going for us throughout the course of the season. But the trick is, how do you rotate those guys in there? And that's going to be very important and very key for us to try to probably be one of our biggest worries that we'll have in this first season. Is just trying to figure out who's going to work out for us and who's not. Also, too, with that, some of the players that are not developing as quickly enough, of course, we're going to take them and have them go overseas and put them on one-year loans with some of the European teams, some of the low tier premier, like some of the low tier English clubs there. Maybe even some of the clubs in Germany, and also some of the clubs there in Spain and Italy and stuff like that. So in France. So there's gonna be a lot of guys moving around here. Obviously the transfer window is a month long. So as right now we're in this first transfer window, we could still make changes to our team here as we go along here. Of course, those changes won't affect until they obviously, if they get picked up after the transfer window, they won't really move to that other team until the summer transfer window, which will be, I believe, in either June or I think it's July. So, like I said, we're going to work out with these guys that we have right now. Like I said, I'm going to try my best to try to rotate at this as much as possible. And as often as I can. Like I said, especially with the sim games, I'm going to make sure that we have guys in there that if they haven't had any playing time, or I feel like they need some playing time in there because they have a nice potential and we want to kind of get them up higher up in that potential, then we're going to try to shift things around and try to do our best to try to make the team better here. As you see, I have been working on some development here for a lot of these players here, especially the younger guys here that you've seen. A lot of our 15, 16, and 17-year-olds in the youth academy there. And like I said, we're going to work on those guys. Now, I pretty much called up almost every single one of those guys not called up to the main school senior team, but to the youth academy. And, of course, from there, we're going to kind of weed out the ones that I think we're going to do. Now, a decent MLS player is somewhere around that 65 to 75 maybe even 80 in some cases there. So those are the kind of players we're looking at for at least for the potential, and those are the ones we'll probably try to keep on the team as long as we can, unless otherwise, we're going to try to sit them off, especially if we have a logjam of positions, certain positions on the team. Then a lot of those players will go overseas and try to get some experience somewhere else for another club, or maybe even we'll put them on loan to someone else here in the MLS that need those players. So I am looking at that. One of my friends told me that was one of the things that's kind of common. You might have that player play for another team, and of course you negotiate, who's gonna pay more of his salary and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're kind of looking at right now for this squad, and some ideas that I'm kind of looking at make this squad better. But take a look here. We're already in the second round in the U.S. Cup. There you see we're going to be playing against Orlando. It's a home game, like I said. This is not the official start of the MLS play, but this is the official start of the U.S. Cup, and we'll try to see what we can do there on our first home game at home, first U.S. Cup game, I should say, at home against Orlando City SC. So should be a good one. I cannot wait to get into that one there, and hopefully you guys will be ready for it also too. So a lot of times, like I said, these rooted in Austin will be pretty short videos. Like this one is pretty short, but then we'll maybe go into some more deeper stuff. Eventually, I wouldn't mind doing a live stream of this, so you guys can get my raw reactions and raw thoughts about stuff, and also get help from you guys. If you guys, there's players out there that you think I should go after. If there are players that you think you should go after that are reasonable, that are realistic for this club, then let me know down below in the comment section, and I will definitely take a look at those, and maybe those could be possible moves we can make going into the summer transfer window. But that's it for this episode in Rooted in Austin. Like I said, coming up will be our first home game for the U.S. Open Cup, and of course we'll have our first road game, which we'll take on against LAFC to start our journey here in the MLS. So I cannot wait to start that. That'll be in episode 4, and we'll get into more of that very, very soon. It should be up here pretty soon here on the channel. Both of these episodes should be, and we're gonna try to come out these episodes come out on a routine basis. I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 days a week here on the channel, or it could be just strictly a Friday series. I don't know. I'm kind of playing with some ideas here, but of course I'll let you guys know. You guys follow us on Twitter and on Facebook and Discord to check us out and find out what's going on here on the channel. But that's it for this episode of Rooted in Austin. Thank you guys for watching. As always, keep yourselves healthy. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and hit that bell notification so you guys be notified of this series or any other series here on ESGNet. As always, keep yourselves healthy, and I will see you guys next time.